I'm the City Councilor for District 5, and I am the Vice President of the Boston City Council. Viewers can watch the council meeting live on YouTube by visiting boston.gov/citycounciltv. I would like to ask my colleagues and those in the audience to please silence their phones and electronic devices. Thank you. Please also be respectful and do not disrupt the meeting while you are here. If you are disruptive, you will be asked to leave, and if you fail to comply, you will be escorted out. Please also note that according to City Council rules, there are no signs allowed in the chamber. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll to ascertain the presence of a quorum?
Councilor Arroyo.
Present.
Councilor Baker.
Here.
Councilor Bach. Present. Councilor Braden. Present. Councilor Coletta. Present. Councilor Fernandez Anderson. Councilor Flaherty. Here. Councilor Flynn. Councilor Lara. Here. Councilor Louis Jen. Councilor Mejia. Here. Councilor Murphy. Present. And Councilor Worrell. A quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I have been informed by the clerk that a quorum is present. This week's clergy is Father Bob Carr of St. Anthony Parish in Alston, invited by Councilor Braden. Councilor Braden, would you like to come up to the podium and introduce our clergy for today?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it is my honour today to introduce Father Robert Carr. He's currently the pastor at St. Anthony's Parish in Alston, where he serves both the English and Brazilian Portuguese-speaking community. In the past, he has also served as the Spanish-speaking community in Boston. He was ordained in 1993, and Father Carr transferred from the seminary from UMass to the seminary from UMass Boston, where he also served as a in public radio at WUMB-FM. He previously served 6 years in the United States Navy as an enlisted man and was honorably discharged in 1984 as a sonar technician, second class. He is one of 2 priests who were formerly enlisted in the Navy and now serving in the Archdiocese. Probably has something in Councillor Flynn's not here, he's a Navy guy as well. He is the son of the late Boston Globe newspaper reporter Robert B. Carr and the late Lillian A. Carr. You may find Father Carr riding his bicycle through the streets of Boston between Alston, Nubian Square, Copley Square, and in Cambridge at Harvard Square. And you're very welcome here today. Thank you. Father Carr.
Lord, we ask you to bless this session of the City Council. Lead all the councillors to be open to those needs that they do not see, to respond to those they do, in service to all their constituents. Help them serve every member of the society with the vision of the needs of every human person to become everything you call each of us to be. Let them enact legislation that allows every person in the city to share the gifts that you bestow on them in a way that serves us all. And we ask you this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Father Carr and Councilor Braden. Councilor Braden, if you would lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now on to the first order of business, which is the approval of the minutes. Seeing and hearing no discussion on the matter, the chair moves to approve the minutes from the last meeting as presented. All those in favor of approving minutes from the last meeting say aye. All opposed say nay. Thank you. The minutes of the last meeting stand as approved. Mr. Clerk, can you please read docket 0653? These are communications from Your Honor the Mayor.
Docket number 0653, message in order for your approval, an order authorizing the Parks and Recreation Commission on behalf of the City of Boston to acquire by eminent domain taking 2 parcels on the western shore of Sprague Pond at 0-4 Lakeside Avenue in Hyde Park as a permanently protected parkland to be known as the Sprague Pond Shoreline Reserve and to use Community Preservation Fund monies appropriated to the Parks and Recreation Department to award damages as determined by the Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Docket number 0653 will be referred to the Committee on Environmental Justice, Resiliency, and Parks. Mr. Clerk, can you please read docket 0654?
Docket number 0654, message transmitting certain information under Section 17F relative to the recent City of Boston new hires, positions, titles, addresses, and salaries. Docket number 0624, passed by the Council on May 11, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The docket will be placed on file. We now move to reports of public officers and others. Mr. Clerk, if you could please read docket 0655 to 0681 together.
Docket number 0655, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Ed Rich as a member of the City of Boston Scholarship Fund Committee. Docket number 0656, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Jose Masso III as a member of the Boston Public Library Board of Trustees. Docket number 0657, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Lynn Perry Wooten as a member of the Boston Public Library Board of Trustees. Docket number 0658, notice was received from the mayor of the reappointment of John Heiler as a member of the Boston Public Library Board of Trustees. Docket number 0659, notice was received from the mayor of the reappointment of Evelyn Arana Ortiz as a member of the Boston Public Library Board of Trustees. Docket number 0660, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Louis Elisa as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0661, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Joseph Feaster Jr. as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0662, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Kurt Foston as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0663, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of James Morton as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0664, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Sean Perryman as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0665, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Jeff Similian as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0666, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Charles Titus as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2024. Docket number 0667, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Abdullah Beckett as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0668, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Richard Harris as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0669, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of James Hills as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0670, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Imari Paris Jeffries as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0671, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Darian Johnson as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0672, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Devin Morris as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0673, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Tony Richards as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2025. Docket number 0674, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Andre Barber as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. Docket number 0675, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Peter Brandau as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. Docket number 0676, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Anthony Brewer as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. Docket number 0677, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Tito Jackson as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. Docket number 0678, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Maddie Good as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. Docket number 0679, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of James Mackey as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. Docket number 0680, notice was received from the mayor of the appointment of Matt Parker as a member of the Commission on Black Men and Boys, expiring on May 1st, 2026. And docket number 0681, notice was received from the mayor of her absence from the city on Friday, May 20th, 2022, from 2:30 p.m. until Sunday, May 22nd, 2022, at 11:30 p.m. a.m. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Hopefully we have some water there for you. Docket 0655 to 0681 will be placed on file. Moving to reports on committees. Mr. Clerk, if you can please read dockets number 353 to 354 and dockets 577 to 578 together.
Docket number 0353, the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, to which was referred on March 9th, 2022. Docket number 0353, message in order for the confirmation of the reappointment of Guali Valdez as a member of the Boston Public Health Commission's Board of Health for a term expiring on January 15, 2025. Submits a report that the reappointment ought to be confirmed. Docket number 0354, the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, to which was referred on March 9th, 2022. Docket number 0354, message in order for the confirmation of the reappointment of Philomene Baptiste as a member of the Boston Public Health Commission's Board of Health for a term expiring on January 15, 2025. Submits a report that the reappointment ought to be confirmed. Docket number 0577, the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, to which was referred on May 4th, 2022. Docket number 0577, message in order for the confirmation of the appointment of Greg Wilmot as a member of the Boston Public Health Commission's Board of Health for a term expiring January 15, 2025. Submits a report that the appointment ought to be confirmed. And docket number 0578, the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, to which was referred on May 4, 2022. Docket number 0578, message in order for the confirmation of the appointment of Sandro Galea as a member of the Boston Public Health Commission's Board of Health for a term expiring January 6, 2024. Submits a report that the appointment ought to be confirmed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The chair now recognizes Councilor Murphy. Councilor Murphy is Chair of Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery. Councilor Murphy, you have the floor.
Thank you, and thank you, Clerk, for reading all of those. So I do, for docket 0354, I motion to substitute the language in the original docket by adding Philomene Baptiste will be appointed as an at-large member of the Boston Public Health Commission based on an order from the mayor's office. The original docket did not list it as an at-large member, so I did want to change the language there, motion to substitute that. These matters are sponsored by the mayor and the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery. Should I take it? Okay, I'll wait.
Motion to substitute it. All those in favor say aye.
Okay.
And just, Mr. Clerk, we don't have to do a motion for it, it doesn't have to be seconded. All those in favor of the motion to substitute, please say aye. Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. So these matters are sponsored by the mayor and the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, and we held a public hearing here in the chamber on May 20th, 2022, to take testimony and consider these appointments. In attendance was myself as the chair of the committee, and I was joined by President Flynn and Councilor Baker. Dr. Ojukutu, Executive Director of the Boston Health Commission, and P.J. McCann, Deputy Director for Policy and Planning at the Boston Public Health Commission, attended the hearing, presented testimony, and responded to questions from the chair and councilors. The presentation included an overview of the mission, jurisdiction, and composition of the board, and the duties and responsibility of the appointed members of the Boston Public Health Commission's Board of Health, and testimony in full support of these appointments and reappointments to the Boston Public Health Commission's Board of Health. Under the Enabling Act, the Board of the Boston Public Health Commission serves as the Board of Health for the City of Boston. This act creates one seat on the board for the Chief Executive Officer of the Boston Medical Center, 2 for representatives of community health centers affiliated with the BMC, and 1 to represent organized labor. Aside from the BMC ex officio seat, members serve 3-year terms, and the chairperson of the board is selected by the mayor. The Enabling Act grants the board the powers and duties of boards of health under Massachusetts law, except certain powers and duties previously assumed by other agencies. The powers of the commission are exercised by or under supervision of a board of 7 members appointed by the mayor and may adopt, amend, and repeal reasonable health regulations. The board's meetings are public meetings subject to open meeting law, and their records are subject to public health record law. The committee reviewed the resumes and credentials of the appointees. The appointees responded to questions from the chair and other councilors regarding their qualifications, relevant experience, background, and areas of expertise. Based on these testimonies and information presented at the hearing, and having considered the same, I respectfully report that these appointments and reappointments ought to be confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. We'll now take a vote on each of these dockets separately. Councilor Murphy, the chair on the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, seeks acceptance of the committee report and confirmation of docket 353. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment has been confirmed. Councilor Murphy, the chair on Committee of Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, seeks acceptance of the committee report as amended and confirmation of docket number 354. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment has been confirmed. Councilor Murphy, the chair on the Committee of Public Health Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, seeks acceptance of the committee report and confirmation of docket number 377. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 577, sorry. The ayes have it. The appointment has been confirmed. Do we have to do it again, or are we good? Are we good with just that? Yep, perfect. And Mr. Clerk, if you could please amend the attendance report to indicate Councilor Worrell is present.
Yes.
Councilor Murphy, the chair on the Committee on Public Health, Homelessness, and Recovery, seeks acceptance of the committee report and confirmation of docket 578. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment has been confirmed. Let's just see. We're going to move to motions, orders, and resolutions. Oh, thank you. Councilor Flower, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know you did see my light. I just had a question through the chair to the maker or to the chair, and I, due to a scheduling conflict, it precluded me from attending the hearing. But when we strengthened the residency requirement several years ago, we did get a commitment from the Boston Public Health Commission that they would adhere to that. And I just noticed that we've got an address of Framingham and we've got an address of Brookline. And I know we got some of the brightest minds right here in Boston, and I don't see Framingham or Brookline stepping up to the plate to help us citing detox facilities and halfway houses and recovery homes. So I just threw the chair to the maker, want to know whether or not they had any response to that, unless it's a specific seat designed to go to a specific person, say an executive director of a community health center. But I'd just like to sort of get that on the record and let the Boston Public Health Commission know that they committed to this body several years ago during the period of time when we strengthened the residency requirement that they would be sending us, their representatives would be from the neighborhoods of Boston. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Flaherty.
Yes.
Councilor Murphy, the floor is yours.
Sure. So I did check with that, and we asked them both, because they weren't hiding that they live in Brookline and Framingham, and I was told that the Enabling Act says lives or works in, and they both work closely in the city of Boston, but as you recall, we can check to see if pass to the,
And just for the chair, just point I want to make is that this body lets the Boston Public Health Commission remind them that they made a commitment to this body, that they would obviously make best efforts to, when they're doing boards and commissions, that they be residents of the city of Boston. So I know, they know, that they have folks that work for the Boston Public Health Commission that are from the neighborhoods of Boston that would be most suitable, obviously, to serve in that capacity. So willing to, I guess, withdraw the inquiry to not block this, but they need to know loud and clear that the Boston City Council expects them to honor their word as it pertains to the residence requirement in the city of Boston.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Councilor
Mr.
Flaherty. We're going to move to motions, orders, and resolutions. Mr. Clerk, can you please read docket number 682? So we still have leaders, but time is not here, so I will do it
These week, I still have to remember they can just leave.
without speaking. Perfect. So before we do that, we're going to stay on matters of motions recently heard. If we can please read, Mr. Clerk, dockets 0480 to 482, dockets 483, docket 484 to docket 486, dockets 493 to 496, and docket 499 together.
Dockets 0480 through 0482, orders for the fiscal year 23 operating budget, including annual appropriations for department operations for the school department and for other post-employment benefits, also known as OPEB. Docket number 0483, order for the capital fund transfer appropriations. Docket numbers 0484 through 0486, orders for the capital budget, including loan orders and lease purchase agreements. Docket number 0493, message and order authorizing a limit for the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture revolving fund for fiscal year 2023 to purchase goods and services to support the operation of the Strand Theater. This revolving fund shall be funded by receipts from rental fees for the use of the Strand Theater. The Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture will be the only unit authorized to expend from the fund, and such expenditures shall be capped at $300,000. Docket number 0494, message and order authorizing a limit for the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture revolving fund for fiscal year 2023 to purchase goods and services to support public art to enhance the public realm throughout the city of Boston. This revolving fund shall be funded by receipts from easements within the public way granted by the Public Improvement Commission. The Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture will be the only unit authorized to expend from the fund, and such expenditures shall be capped at $120,000. Docket number 0495, message and order authorizing a limit for the Mayor's Office of Tourism revolving fund for fiscal year 2023 to purchase goods and services to support events and programming on and around City Hall Plaza, to advance tourism and promote participation in public celebrations, civic and cultural events. This revolving fund shall be funded by receipts from payments for the use of City Hall Plaza pursuant to City of Boston Code, Ordinance 11-7.14. The Mayor's Office of Tourism will be the only unit authorized to expend from the fund, and such expenditures shall be capped at $150,000. Docket number 0496, message and order authorizing a limit for the Law Department revolving fund for fiscal year 2023 to purchase goods and services for repairs to city property. This revolving fund shall be funded by receipts from recoveries for damages to city property caused by third parties. The Law Department will be the only unit authorized to expend from the fund, and such expenditures shall be capped at $300,000. And docket number 0499, message and order approving an appropriation of $500,000 from the city's Boston Equity Fund to create a special revenue project grant in order to support equity applicants and licensees as defined by the equity program and to establish and operate a cannabis business in the city of Boston. The fund shall be credited to the Special Revenue Grant Fund from the Boston Equity Fund established pursuant to the City of Boston Ordinances, Chapter 8, Section 13, establishing the equitable regulation of the cannabis industry in the city of Boston.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Docket 0480 to 0482, docket 0483, docket 0484 to 0486, docket 0493 through docket 0496, docket 0499 will remain in committee. Mr. Clerk, please let the record reflect that the chair is present.
Yes.
We're on to motions, orders, and resolutions.
Docket number 0682, Councilor Murphy and Flynn offer the following. Order for a home rule petition regarding electronic application and transmission of absentee ballots for absent uniformed services voters.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The chair recognizes Councilor Murphy. Councilor Murphy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Counselor. So I, along with President Flynn, herewith for your approval, a home rule petition to the General Court entitled "A Petition for a Special Law Regarding an Act Relative to the Authorization of an Electronic Absentee Ballot Application and Electronic Transmission of Ballots for Absent Uniformed Service Voters." Massachusetts citizens have a right to vote in all elections, even if deployed or stationed overseas. The Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act is a federal law that guarantees voting rights for the United States military, who are known as uniformed service voters. By the federal law's definition, eligible uniformed service voters strictly include those on active duty in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, including reservists, Space Force, and the Merchant Marine members, as well as their spouses and dependents. More specifically, absent uniformed services voters are located outside of their voting district. In Massachusetts, absent uniformed service voters are exempt from voter registration requirements, but instead must mail an absentee ballot application to their local election office in order to obtain their ballot. For municipal elections in Massachusetts, a blank ballot will only be delivered through the mail and must also be returned through the mail. However, for federal elections, a ballot can be emailed, faxed, or mailed based on preference, and the voted ballot may be mailed back or electronically returned through email or fax. This is a more modern approach for absent uniformed services voters to participate in elections. Mail-in ballots have already caused problems in some elections nationwide. We know in Wisconsin, 9,000 requested ballots were never sent and thousands were postmarked too late to count. In New Jersey, 9.6 of mail ballots cast in the state's local elections were rejected because signatures didn't match the ones on file or arrived too late. And in Pennsylvania, tens of thousands of votes were either not cast or not counted due to deadline confusion. Through this act, electronic application for an absentee ballot for municipal elections will streamline the absentee ballot application process by eliminating the shipping time required to receive and deliver an application. Also, through this act, electronically delivering and returning the ballots itself through email or fax will help better guarantee voting rights for absent uniformed services voters by streamlining the voting process, ensuring each ballot is counted, and reducing the number of rejected ballots. So in short, I urge my fellow colleagues in this body to support this special act so that we can better help guarantee voting rights for absent uniformed service voters in accordance with the Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act, as well as modernize the voting process for municipal elections like they do in elections, federal elections. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. The chair now recognizes Council President Flynn.
Thank you, Councilor Royo, and I want to say thank you to Councilor Murphy for taking the lead on this important piece of policy change that we're going to make here. And I know I have talked with the mayor's team and with the election department, and they've always been strong supporters of voting for veterans and for military families and veterans overseas especially. So I'm looking forward to the next step in making sure that all active duty or reservists serving overseas have the opportunity to vote in elections. It's a critical part of our democracy. Just as an example, I was in a small country in Bahrain in the Persian Gulf, requested an absentee ballot, and the day my ballot was supposed to arrive to me, I was flown to another country, and that ballot never reached me. I think it reached me about several months later after the voting. But for military people, it's not as simple as just getting a piece of mail delivered to your home or to your office. It's very challenging when you're overseas. But again, I want to say thank you to Councilor Murphy and to all of my colleagues who have advocated for veterans and military families, whether they were on the council or prior to their job on the council. But I know you've always been strong supporters of military families, so just want to say thank you for all of the city workers that do tremendous work in helping our veterans. Thank you, Councilor Royal.
Thank you, Council President Flynn. Would anyone else like to speak on this matter? Seeing no further discussion, would anyone else like to add their name? Mr. Clerk, please add Councilor Baker, Councilor Bach, Councilor Caletta, Councilor Flaherty, Councilor Lara, Councilor Mejia, Councilor Braden, and Councilor Worrell, and also please add my name. Docket number 682 will be assigned to the Committee on Government Operations. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0683.
Docket number 0683, Councilors Braden and Louisiana offer the following. Order for a hearing to discuss solutions to historic and disproportionate state disinvestment in the city of Boston.
The chair recognizes Councilor Braden. Councilor Braden, you have the floor.
Where's my notes? Thank you, Mr. President. I want to extend my appreciation to Councillor Louisiana for her willingness to lead in this issue with me despite her absence today. Through this year's budget process, we dug deeper to get a better understanding, not just of the figures and numbers from each individual department, but the Office of Budget Management's narrative analysing trends in the city's fiscal condition over the span of several years. A couple of weeks ago, I filed orders related to city personnel and the state of the public sector workforce after reviewing 20 years of staffing level data, revealing some striking trends. Only looking at the current year and the past couple of years didn't show the historic trends. The same is the case for Boston's relationship with the state. We have to look at the long view to understand the big picture. Over the past 20 years, the city's net revenue in state aid has been reduced by over $300 million per year, or a 70% reduction. Our state aid has been dropping, but year over year, our state assessments for charter school tuition and the MBTA climb exponentially. The result is, in our budget year after year, is increased reliance on property taxes for our revenue source. 20 years ago, the property tax accounted for 55% of our revenue. Now, 20 years later, it's expected to reach 75% of our revenue. This relationship is unsustainable for the city and our residents. In 2006, Mayor Menino commissioned the BRA Research Department to conduct a report called Boston Gives More Than It Gets from the Rest of Massachusetts. It found that we generate more than our fair share of state jobs, state tax revenue, state income, corporate excise, and business tax revenue, visitor revenue, and state hotel tax revenue. But we do not get our fair share. It was a problem then, and it is a problem now. We have an opportunity to forge transformative partnerships with our colleagues at the state level. We have a mayor and city council whose policies at times require state approval that move at a glacial pace. We know our home rule petitions take forever, like the ZBA reform bill submitted in 2019, which still hasn't moved anywhere. If the state is going to pursue targeted scrutiny and oversight of the City of Boston, we should assess what is and isn't working from the current relationship for the interests of the city. Looking ahead, I believe we need a more proactive collaboration with the Boston delegation members, including those in leadership roles, such as the leaders from my district and those chairing committees like Ways and Means at the State House. We also are looking at the possibility of a governor from the city sitting in the corner office in less than a year from now. The Council, the Mayor's administration and members of the Boston delegation should be strategising a game plan for the city to achieve real, tangible results and receive its fair share to right the many wrongs that have been done to us over the past several decades. And that is what this hearing order is about. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councillor Braden. Would anyone else like to speak on this matter? Would anyone like to add their name? Please raise your hand, Mr. Clerk. Please add Councillor Arroyo, Councillor Bach, Councillor Coletta, Councillor Mejia, Councillor Worrell, Councillor Flaherty. Please add the chair. Docket 0683 will be signed to the Committee on Ways and Means. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0684, please.
Docket number 0684, Councilor Mejia offered the following. Order for a hearing on accountability and accessibility of language access services in the City of Boston.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The chair now recognizes Councilor Mejia.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, and thank you, Mr. President. And I'd like to suspend the rules and add you both, Councilor Arroyo and Councilor Flynn, as original co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, they are so added.
We're filing this hearing order for two reasons. The first is that in 2021, the Boston City Council passed an ordinance amending the city's language access policies in order to give the newly qualified Office of Language and Communications access the time they needed to fully implement the new laws. It was decided that the effective date for the ordinance would be set a year in advance. We're now approaching that 12-month deadline, and it's important that we get a better understanding of where we are in regards to the implementation of the ordinance. The second reason we're filing this hearing order has to do with the new line item for in-house translators and interpreters. Having spoken with with a number of translators and interpreters, we have come to understand just how specialized a field it really is and how important it is to make a distinction between someone who is bilingual and someone who has the capacity to serve as an interpreter. We also need to better understand how translators and interpreters are currently contracted and what metrics we use to determine their quality of service. It probably goes without saying, but it's very difficult to ask a non-English speaking person to rate the quality of interpretation when they have no insight into the source material. So we need to understand more about what we can do to ensure that we have the best people working as interpreters, because that says a lot about how we value our non-English speaking community. I'm looking forward to this hearing and to working alongside Councilor Flynn and Arroyo, who have both been champions of immigrants and language access. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mejia. The chair now recognizes Council President Flynn.
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo, and thank you, Councilor Mejia, for adding me and for the important work that you've done on language and communication access. It's a critical issue facing our city. It's important that we have city services in various languages so that residents across Boston that may not speak English have the opportunity to engage city government in acquiring these city services, especially following during this pandemic where services are needed for our children, especially mental health counseling, but we need to make sure that our residents are able to communicate with city officials in many languages, such as Cantonese, such as Mandarin, Spanish, various other languages that many speak across Vietnamese, across the city, Haitian Creole. So I just want to thank my colleagues Council Mejia, Council Arroyo, and all of my city council colleagues for their important work on language and communication access, along with Mayor Wu, who as a city councilor also is a strong supporter of language and communication access as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Flynn.
The chair recognizes Council Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President Flynn. And, I just want to note behind the scenes, I'm sure folks who are watching this can hear the music going on in the background. That's a celebration of our Asian American and Pacific Islander community, and I think it's sort of indicative of what language access is about. It's about making this city government more accessible to folks and making sure that folks have a way of being heard in the chambers that are making decisions on their lives. And so I look forward to this. I really appreciate Councilor Mejia's tireless efforts on behalf of folks who speak languages other than English, and for Councilor Flynn's steadfast accomplished status and making sure that we are working towards these things. And so I look forward to a hearing, because it's vitally important to all of us that when we are speaking and issuing city ordinances or home rule petitions or things that impact people's lives, that they know and understand and can participate and partake in those discussions and really understand how this government, our municipal government, is impacting their lives and the ways in which we can make it better. So thank you, Council President Flynn, thank you, Councilor Mejia, and thank you to my council colleagues who have also been steadfast in making sure that this happens.
Thank you, Council Arroyo. Would anyone else like to speak on this matter? Would anyone else like to add their name? Please raise your hand. Mr. Clerk, please add Councilor Baker, Councilor Bogg, Councilor Braden, Councilor Coletta, Councilor Flaherty, Councilor Lara, Councilor Murphy, Councilor Worrell. Docket 0684 will be assigned to the Committee on Government Accountability, Transparency, and Accessibility. Mr. Clerk, docket 0685 has been withdrawn. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0686, please.
Docket number 0686, Councilors Lara and Louisiana offer the following. Resolution urging the Massachusetts legislature to oppose House 1234 and the proposed 2022 state ballot initiative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The chair recognizes Councilor Lara. Councilor Lara, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Flynn. I would like to suspend the rules and add Councilor Arroyo as one of the original co-sponsors.
Councilor Arroyo is so added as an original co-sponsor. Councilor Lara, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, President Flynn. Today we had a couple of dozen app-based drivers and workers downstairs with us, and elected officials, city councilors, and labor leaders from all across the state coming together in support for this resolution. App-based companies such as Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash are proposing a deceptive ballot question that's going to deny employees vital workplace protections, such as minimum wage, equal pay, paid leave, retirement, workplace safeguards against sexual and racial harassment, unemployment, and workers' compensation. Essentially, they're denying all hope of a workplace where people feel respected, protected, and well paid. Undeniably, we've seen that technology has given workers more flexibility through the gig economy, but the price that working people in Boston are paying for those flexible hours is incredibly steep. We are currently in a pivotal moment where the future of work, as digital tycoons are building empires on the backs of underpaid workers who are facing escalating housing, food, and fuel costs daily. During the pandemic, women accounted for more than 68% of the nation's 2.1 million job losses, and as a result, many of our friends and families turn to the gig economy in record numbers, especially women of color. At Uber, women drivers increased by 80% in the last year. At Uber Eats, the number of women delivery drivers doubled from April 2020 to January 2022. And at Instacart, over 70% of the company's 600,000 drivers are women. So when app-based companies like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash propose a deceptive ballot question that would deny employees vital workplace protections, we take it as a direct attack on working women, especially women of color and especially immigrants. Many of our friends and loved ones have turned to these jobs out of necessity, to care for their own families and to earn extra cash, and it's been to all of our benefit. App-based services help us get dinner on the table. travel home from the doctor's office, and have groceries delivered at the end of the day. They provide ease and convenience, particularly for working class people, the elderly, and disabled, who heavily rely on these services. They're an asset, but this asset is made possible exclusively by the workers whose rights are going to be put at risk by Proposition 22. This statewide measure is being bankrolled by app-based companies, and it's an attempted end run around labor law that would create a permanent underclass of underpaid workers of all ages in every community, but especially in Black, brown immigrant communities. Big Tech has already spent $224 million on Proposition 22 in California in a successful attempt to exclude rideshare and other app-based workers from workplace protections that are afforded to them under the law. And they plan on spending another $100 million here in Massachusetts. If House Bill 1224 passed, it's going to create a permanent underclass of low-wage, mostly Black, brown, and immigrant workers by allowing these companies to pay their workers less than minimum wage and provide few, if any, benefits. The numbers that we're currently looking at range from $4.82 an hour to $6.35 an hour. I'm filing this resolution because I believe that the Boston City Council has a responsibility to prioritize workers over corporate profits, to protect our consumers, and oppose any measure that's going to facilitate wage theft and undermine the rights and benefits of the working class people who keep our city running. I'm requesting that we suspend the rules and move for a passage of this resolution today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Lara. The chair recognizes Councilor Arroyo. Councilor Arroyo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President Flynn, and thank you, Councilor Lara, for your leadership here. The 2022 state ballot referendum is essentially asking Mass legislators and voters to grant special exemptions from our labor, civil rights, and consumer protection laws that are anti-worker, that are anti the rights of our Massachusetts residents who are working in these places, in these gig economies, the Uber, Lyft, and the different ones that are partaking. We know that people depend on this work. We know that the current advertising campaign, frankly, to call it what it is calling into question that the idea that if we give folks these rights, if we give folks the dignity that they respect as workers, that they should get as workers, and the respect they deserve as workers, that we are harming them by removing their flexibility. And I just want to be clear that nothing prevents any of these places from offering flexible schedules or flexible working hours. They are fully able to do that and to continue to provide that flexibility to their workers. The only thing this does is ensure that they're paying into Social Security, that they're paying into unemployment, that they're providing civil rights protections and sexual harassment protections, that they are treating their workers with the respect and dignity that they deserve. And so I'm in full-throated support for this. It is incredibly important that we stand up for our workers, for folks who are holding it together. During much of COVID, folks were quarantined and ordering their groceries and ordering different things through these apps and relying, frankly, on workers who are putting themselves at risk for very little money and for very little respect from the organizations that they have made very wealthy. And it's important that we change that we make sure that that's not the case any longer here in Massachusetts. And so I thank Councilor Lara for her leadership here. I thank other council colleagues who have stood up on this and have been very loud on this. And I thank Council President Flynn for this moment to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo. Would anyone like to speak on this matter? The chair recognizes Councilor Bork. Councilor Bork, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you to Councilor Lara for leading on this, and Councilor Arroyo, and I think many councilors are united on this front. It was moving to see so many folks, labor allies from across the state outside in front of the building earlier, and I just really want to briefly emphasize that what Councilor Arroyo said about how there's nothing that prevents these big businesses from providing their workers with flexibility within existing Massachusetts labor law. What they don't like about existing Massachusetts labor law is that we have some of the best protections for workers in the country, and they're trying to undermine those because they know that these are not outside contractors, that they're dictating far too much of people's workday for that to be the case, and they don't like the idea of having to fund all of those protections. So I just want to emphasize, I think unfortunately if we allow this third category to be created in the name of flexibility, when in fact it's just letting people be workers without all of their workers' rights, it's going to hugely hurt our rideshare drivers first, and then it's going to be a category that any number of workers in the Commonwealth could then become sort of shunted into and lose a lot of their rights. So I think it's just a super, super important thing for worker power for all of us to be pushing back on this and making sure that Massachusetts voters know what it's really about. It's about the rich getting richer. It's about companies that have already like basically set public transit and all kinds of other things in their sites and sort of like captured this big transportation market. And now they're trying to have as much of the profit from that as possible go their way and not to the workers, who are in fact not even just the ones driving, but also the ones bringing the cars and paying the fuel and stuck in terrible leases for a lot of these cars. I mean, it's a really exploitative industry, and this question would make it even more exploitative, and it's just something we can't allow. So thank you so much to my colleague, and please sign my name.
Thank you, Councilor Block. The chair recognizes Councilor Baker. Councilor Baker, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor, for putting this forth. Uber and Lyft, this is not our first fight with them, and I don't think it will be our last. They have been around for a little while, and I was involved pretty heavily with the taxi drivers. We totally crushed that industry there, and that was mostly an immigrant-driven, sort of good American story where you could legitimately get a taxi and earn a living in that taxi, or one or two of them. So we lost that battle here. Now they're coming after. Kenzie was eloquent in what she talked about in taking away the workers' rights. So let's keep an eye on them, because I think ultimately it's about getting rid of those workers and replacing them all with automated vehicles. So, but thank you for putting this forward, and please sign my name.
Thank you, Councilor Baker. Anyone else like to speak on this matter? The chair recognizes. Anyone else like to add their name? Mr. Clerk, please add Councilor Baker, Councilor Block, Councilor Braden, Councilor Coletta, Councilor Flaherty, Councilor Mejia, Councilor Murphy, Councilor Worrell, and please add the chair. Councilors Lara and Arroyo seek suspension of the rules and adoption of docket 0486. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution has been adopted. We're on to personnel orders. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0687.
Docket number 0687, Councilor Flynn for Councilor Murphy.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0687. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0688.
Docket number 0688, Councilor Flynn ordered the following. Order for the appointment of temporary employee Megan Kavanaugh in City Council, effective May 31st, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This is for the legislative assistant position for central staff. The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0688. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0689.
Docket number 0689, Councilor Flynn for Councilor Lara.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0689. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0690.
Docket number 0690, Councilor Flynn for Councilor Lara.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0690. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0691.
Docket number 0691, Councilor Flynn for Councilor Worrell.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0691. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. Mr. Clerk, please read docket 0692.
Docket number 0692, Councilor Flynn for Councilor Worrell.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0692. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. Mr. Clerk, please read 0693.
Docket number 0693, Councilor Flynn for Councilor Worrell.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of docket 0693. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The docket is passed. We're on to late files. I am informed by the clerk that there are 3 late file matters. The late file matters include 1 personnel order and 2 letters of absence. The late file should be on everyone's desk. We will take a vote to add these items to the agenda. All those in favor of adding the late file matters to the agenda say aye. Aye. Thank you. The late file matters have been added to the agenda. Mr. Clerk, please read the first late file matter, which is the personnel order.
Personnel order filed by Councilor Flynn for Councilor Flaherty.
The chair seeks suspension of the rules and passage of the first late file matter. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The first late file matter has passed. Mr. Clerk, please read the second late file matter, which is the letter of absence from Councilor Fernandez Anderson.
Dear Council President Flynn, I am writing to inform you of my absence during today's City Council meeting. I will have you know that I'm not AWOL. Neither am I a floor, a ceiling, or a roof. In any case, a representative from my staff will be listening in and will follow up with me as necessary. I look forward to watching the proceedings and continuing the conversation around topics as needed. You will find my report for the Committee on Ways and Means submitted for today's meeting. I appreciate any questions being entered into the record. I wish all of you a productive afternoon. I look forward to reconvening.
Thank you. The second late file matter will be placed on file. Mr. Clerk, please read the third late file matter, which is the letter of absence from Councilor Lujan.
Dear Council President Flynn, I regret to inform you that I will be unable to attend today's council meeting. Should you or any member of the public have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to my office directly at 635-4376 or via email. Sincerely, Councilor Lujan.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We're on to green sheets. Anyone wishing to remove a matter from the green sheets may do so at this time. The chair recognizes Councilor Braden. Councilor Braden will take docket 0404-0538 and 0540 out of the green sheets. Mr. Clerk, would you please read docket 0404-0538 0540 into the record?
From the Committee on Strong Women, Families, and Communities, docket number 0404. Message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $1,056,840 in the form of a grant from the State Fiscal Year 22 Council on Aging Formula Grant, awarding by the Massachusetts Executive Office of Elder Affairs, to be administered by the Age Strong Commission. The grant will fund services for 88,070 older adults in the City of Boston at $12 per person, according to the 2020 census. Docket number 0538. Message in order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $286,860 in the form of a grant for the fiscal year 22 Senior Companion Program, awarded by the Corporation for National and Community Service, to be administered by the Age Strong Commission. The grant will fund reimbursement for travel and meals plus stipends. In docket number 0540. Message in order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $137,753 in the form of a grant for fiscal year 22 Retirement Senior Volunteer Program, awarded by the Corporation for National and Community Service, to be administered by the Age Strong Commission. The grant will fund food and travel reimbursement for senior community service volunteers.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can you please poll the committee members to see if they would allow the docket to come before this body?
Committee on Strong Women, Families, and Communities, Councilor Braden. Councilor Mejia. Should be in the affirmative. Should we say yes? Councilor Braden, yes. Councilor Mejia, yes. Councilor Lara, yes. And Councilor, that's Councilor Fernandez.
Okay. Docket 04040538 and 054 now are now properly before the body. Councilor Braden, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we're in a very tight budget season, it is difficult to schedule committee hearings, and as Monday's budget hearing with the Age Strong Commission has been postponed, I'd like to move these dockets for passage so that the funds may be expended before the close of the fiscal year. As just outlined by the City Clerk, these dockets are pretty self-explanatory, and they're I move that we accept and expend these sums today. I have been in communication with Commissioner Emily Say from the Age Strong Commission, and she's given us an outline on how this money would be expended. The Age Strong Commission receives $12 per elder per year, and this is currently based on the 2010 census for the number of 88,070 persons. And it's possible that we'll get an increase in funding following this recent census, but this money will be used as flexible funding that will be used by the Age Strong Commission for staff, both salaries and fringe, to support our communications, advocacy, benefits access, housing support, volunteer programs and events on senior programming, as well as other supportive costs like travel and telephones for those staff members. In addition, they fund the design, printing and delivery of the Seniority magazine, and we have when they have additional funds, they use the monies to purchase. They would purchase a new senior shuttle vehicles from this funding source. The other docket is 0538, and it's really to support the AmeriCorps Senior Companion Program, which is a program that has 55 volunteers serving in the program at 18 volunteer stations, which are non-profit partners throughout the city. And the volunteers must be age 55 and over and serve an average of 20 hours per week. They're a very diverse group of folks. They speak many languages and support older adults who speak English, Spanish, Cape Verdean Creole, Haitian Creole, and Vietnamese. And then the other docket, 0540, again, it's an AmeriCorps grant, and it will also support volunteers with meal and travel reimbursements. And you know, during the pandemic, they lost a number of volunteers, so they're recruiting new volunteers for all the programs, and we want to support all of these programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Braden. We will now take a vote on each docket. Councilor Braden moves for passage of docket 0404. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Docket 0404 is passed. Councilor Braden moves for passage of docket 0538. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Docket 0538 is passed. Councilor Braden moves for passage of docket 0540. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Docket 0540 has passed. Anyone else wishing to remove anything from the green sheets? Okay. We're on to consent agenda. I have been informed by the clerk that there are 0 additions to the consent agenda. The chair moves for adoption of the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. The consent agenda has been adopted. Announcements. Does anyone have any announcements at this time? The chair recognizes Councilor Lara. Councilor Lara, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, President Flynn. I want to make 2 announcements. The first announcement is that my son Zaire, who all of you have met and have had the pleasure of having him disrupt our Ways and Means hearings, is turning 6 on Friday. It's his birthday, so I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. He's a fun kid, and I wanted to make sure that I honor him and also myself, because 6 years ago I gave birth. So. My second announcement is a little bit more solemn, but my office did not have an opportunity to send it in formally to the council for an in memoriam just because of the timing. But today, and as we've all kind of been keeping track of what's happening in the news, about 10 days ago, we had the racist massacre of 10 people in Buffalo. Just yesterday, we've had the murder of 19 children and 2 educators in Uvalde, Texas. And today is the 2nd anniversary of George Floyd's murder. And so I wanted to respectfully request that when we close in memoriam today, that we do so in honor of all of those victims. And I want to call on my council colleagues to just take this as a recommitment to our work, to Black liberation, and to the safety of the people here in the city of Boston. I know that this is unusual for the tone that I typically take around these issues, but the underpinnings of my work, particularly around this, is just a discipline of hope. And I know that we can not only make our city, our state, but our country better for all of the people here. And although things might look gloom, we are doing a lot of hard work, not only here on the council, but all across the country, to make sure that all of our people feel safe and affirmed in their identity. So thank you, President Flynn.
Thank you, Councilor Lara. The chair recognizes Councilor Worrell. Councilor Worrell, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Flynn. And just want to say June is National Caribbean Heritage Month. So next week we'll be having two events. One is on June 1st at 1 p.m. There will be a virtual launch organized by the Authentic Caribbean Foundation in partnership with the Institute of Caribbean Studies that will highlight the importance of Caribbean American diaspora community in the state of Massachusetts. And then on Friday, we'll be hosting an event here on June 3rd where will be the Caribbean American Heritage Month reception and breakfast with the Authentic Caribbean Foundation in the Piemonte Room. And that will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Hopefully you guys can come celebrate with us, enjoy some good Caribbean food. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Worrell. The chair recognizes Councilor Arroyo. Councilor Arroyo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President Flynn. Like I'm sure many of you, I've found it difficult to concentrate today after the events in Uvalde, Texas, followed shortly after the events in Buffalo, New York. I think we all share in the horror of this. I think really hard about what we're doing as a country, as a state, as a city, when 19 children can leave home and not return. This is the second largest elementary school shooting in our country's history. It's not even the largest. What does that say? What does that say about us? And about what we're willing to tolerate? What we're willing to do to make sure that children and teachers who are going to schools and going about their day can go back home. I have nieces and nephews who've done lockdown drills. We have conversations about arming teachers. My mom was a teacher for 35 years. My sister's a teacher now. We know that yesterday there were actually armed guards there. There were people who fired upon this man to keep this from happening, and it didn't prevent it, because that's not the solution. The solution is ensuring that we take and make it harder to access these kinds of weapons, that we make it impossible in some cases to access these kinds of weapons. And I'm hoping that in Congress and Senate, where we often hear about the other side and what they're not willing to do, that we take it upon ourselves, where we have the House and we have the Senate and we have the presidency, to finally address these things. Because I can't imagine showing up to a school and waiting hours to be told that your child isn't coming home with you. It's very difficult to know that we have this happening at an unbelievable rate, to the point where it's like, oh, that was Thursday. I can't even keep track. And so I'm hoping and praying for peace on the streets, for action, but I'm imploring those of us who have the ability and leadership to use their voices in this way, for people who have the ability to take things to the floor, for people who have the ability to vote, because we can't keep living like this, and we deserve better. And so I would like to make sure that we do close in the memory of those victims, but that we also work tirelessly for those children and all those that we've lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo. The chair recognizes Councilor Bork. Councilor Bork, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor Arroyo and Laura. I wanted to just highlight for councilors that we've got the first of the sort of focus topic area ARPA hearings on Friday at 10 a.m. This will be the one focused on economic inclusion, arts and culture, and childcare, and sort of looking at the in greater depth at the administration's proposals there and kind of talking about counselor interests, and we've got follow-up ones on different topics, June 1st and then 2 on June 3rd. I just wanted to highlight for colleagues that we did just receive a couple of hours ago back from the administration a response to our fairly lengthy info request from the May 3rd hearing. And so I'm going to be sending folks 82 pages worth of backup. And I'm mentioning that now because I think one of the council's frustrations with budget hearings has been really long PowerPoint presentations. So I asked the administration to try to get us more of this like chapter and verse detail for people to look at ahead and try to have a shorter presentation. But obviously that only works if folks come to the hearing having looked at the backup. So we'll get that out in the next hour, but just if people can try before Friday morning, don't need to look at all of it before Friday morning because we're just focusing on arts and culture, economic inclusion, and the childcare piece on Friday. But if people could just try to find a little bit of time to look at that before, I think it'll make it a better hearing on Friday. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Bach. I just wanted to mention Memorial Day weekend is upon us, and it's an opportunity for us to, on Memorial Day itself, is to not think about having a celebration or a cookout or some type of party, but it's about saying a silent prayer in memory of men and women that were killed in service to our country. So it's an opportunity for us to just stop and think about the men and women that never came back after serving for our country. Memorials. We will adjourn our meeting in memory of the following individuals. For Councilor Coletta, Maria DeMori. For Councilor Murphy, Anna Eastman, celebrating and remembering the life of Anna Eastman on the 2-year anniversary. For the entire council, Roberto Miranda, the victims of the Uvalde, Texas school shooting, in memory of George Floyd. The chair moves that when the council adjourns today, it does so in memory of those mentioned. We are scheduled to meet again in the Ionella Chamber on Wednesday, June 8th at 12 noon. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The council is adjourned. I want to say thank you to the City Council Central staff and to City Council Clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you.